Hi guys, I'm Jared, and today we're talking about what's new in board gaming as of June 18th, 2021. I'll be covering the latest news, announcements, most played games, hot new Kickstarters and crowdfunded games, and more related to board gaming for the past 2 weeks. At the end, I'll also be sharing what's going on behind the scenes with my YouTube channel, Meeple Mentor. So stick around, we've got a lot to cover. Leave me a like and comment on what kinds of updates that you want to hear more about. To make sure you don't miss any of my news updates, new video tutorials, and our podcast episodes, be sure to subscribe on YouTube and your preferred streaming platform. Up first on Kickstarter is Arkham Archives: The Complete Collection. It funded in only 3 hours and contains several books and components used to solve puzzles and follow a narrative of Lovecraftian horror. It's a unique take on the Arkham universe. Join the campaign by July 6th. A new worker placement game is funding now called Scarface 1920, set in Chicago in the Roaring Twenties. During Prohibition, become the lead mafia gang by expanding your criminal empire, crushing your enemies, and avoiding the feds. It has asymmetric gameplay, with each gang having variable player powers. It funded in 1 hour, and you can back it until July 14th. Another fast funder in under 5 hours on Kickstarter, check out Forests of Pangaea. It's an enchanting strategy board game for 2 to 4 players about growing a magical forest with your forest spirit. It plays in 40 to 60 minutes and is full of brightly colored wooden trees, meeples, and modular forest floor tiles. This is going to be a table presence head turner. For a more tactical Eurogame funding, check out Peak Oil Profiteer. For 1 to 5 players, do whatever it takes to keep the oil and money flowing in your direction. It's nearly funded and about 3 weeks left to go. It's a standalone sequel to Peak Oil and involves digging up dirt on leaders, deal arms to control map positions, and buy up drilling rights. It appears to be quite cutthroat. Jay and I will be getting the chance to interview the team behind the game on the channel soon, so keep your eyes open. On Kickstarter now, and already met its goal, check out Deliverance: The Game of Spiritual Warfare. Good and evil clash in this epic tactical adventure about angels, demons, and the saints caught between. It plays like a Frank Peretti-esque Christian fantasy dungeon crawler, as a cooperative game with a solo mode included. Check it out and join the Kickstarter by July 7th. For something lighter, look at Arak-Khan Wars, the card game, for 2 to 4 players. It's a grid-based tactical card game where you must have more points on the battlefield than your opponents at the end of the 9th round. Destroy their creatures and conquer their lands. The game funded in 3 hours. King Fridge is another card game funding now for 2 to 6 players. Draw and remember cards to sabotage your allergic friends and keep away from fatal fruits in this fast and strategic game. Looks like a fun, humorous game about the foods you find in your fridge. Also take a look at Zaka, a monster battling card game for 2 to 6 players. It's a 20-minute game about building up your monster army, equipping them with weapons, and defeating foes. Take a look and support the game by July 12th if you're looking for a lighter card game. Another card game funding right now is Deinonychus, about creating and modifying dinosaurs. You'll get to play cards to make a custom mix of traits, their name, and artwork for your dinosaur. For 2 to 6 players, negotiate, retaliate, plead, and bluff to convince the current player to mutate other players' dinosaurs, not yours. The longer your species survives, the more points you get. For a cute and chaotic engine building game, check out Alien Pet Shop for 2 to 4 players. Manage your own cosmic pet shop filled with mildly dangerous pets. Buy pets, hire workers, assign your worker dice to actions, resolve hazards, and more to win the game. This one is definitely worth checking out. You can find on Kickstarter a relaunch for Skeptics, a paranormal investigation board game for 1 to 4 players. Cooperatively explore possibly haunted locations to prove the existence of ghosts. Collect evidence, roll dice, search, reveal, and solve clues. You've got to beat the clock together to win, while managing all the environment cards that come out each round. Back the game until July 7th. It's already met its funding goal. Cyber Odyssey just funded successfully with a week and a half left in the campaign. It's a miniatures game where you take control of a team of 3 specialized agents who investigate a string of strange murders in the city of New Eden. It's a co-op game for 2 to 4 players that plays in 90 to 120 minutes. As with any Kickstarter, it's packed with minis, components, expansions, and extra content. A new strategic rock climbing themed game is funding now called First Ascent. For 2 to 5 players, it includes engine building, resource management, route building, set matching, and a modular board. There are 10 unique characters to choose from with their own special abilities. Check it out on Kickstarter to back it. The campaign ends in less than 4 weeks. Dwarves Winter and Dwarves The Lost Tribes are 2 games you can get for only 3 more days left on Kickstarter. It's been funded tremendously and features colorful dwarven miniatures, lots of cards and tokens, and a game board. Survive the winter, battle monsters, upgrade heroes, and manage your resources to win. One of Jay's favorite games, The Path of Light and Shadow, just ended a successful Kickstarter campaign for an expansion to it called Solstice. Explore the hinterlands, discover magic relics, gain new titles, and take charge of forces moving between cruelty and mercy. The new expansion also adds in doubt and a solo mode. The doubt concept offers incentives for players to stray from their moral faction. Funding in only 9 hours, 2 Minutes to Midnight is on Kickstarter right now and is a historical and detailed simulation of the Cold War, which includes the military, economy, politics, and trade. Each game is unique as it includes over 120 events that may or may not take effect. It's for 1 to 2 players, with 1 player as the USA and the other the Soviet Union. Join the campaign by July 7th. Lastly, how about a new roll and write game, Dice Trucking, for 1 to 5 players? Be space truckers assembling your ship, grabbing cargo, and trying to keep from blowing apart before making your delivery. The player who can successfully get their space truck through 2 checkpoints and then the finish line will win. Less than 2 weeks remain in the campaign. First up in board game industry news, the winner of the Kinderspiel des Jahres 2021 is Dragomino by Blue Orange Games. It's a family version of the King Domino series of games by Bruno Cathala. I have a copy and my 7-year-old loves to play this. The bag builder Orleans from Tasty Minstrel Games has got a new publisher. Capstone Games has acquired the license for the English editions and expansions and will be releasing a new version with a 5th player expansion this September. It's expected to retail for $59.99, and the game's previous expansions will also be reprinted and released at the same time. Asmodee has signed an agreement to be the exclusive distributor of Super Meeple's English edition board games worldwide. Super Meeple made the 1999 Spiel des Jahres game Tikal. Others include Mississippi Queen, US Telegraph, and Paper Dungeons. Their latest announced game is called Genesia, which is an area control strategy game with card drafting. Earthborn Games is a new board game studio from Andrew Navarro, previously of Chip Theory Games. He also worked with Fantasy Flight Games prior to being Chip Theory's studio director. Their first game has been announced, called Earthborn Rangers, and is coming to Kickstarter this summer. It's a cooperative game that takes place in the wilderness of the far future. We don't know much more than that right now. The original manuscript for the classic advanced Dungeons & Dragons sourcebook, Deities and Demigods, was recently put on eBay with bids over $12,000. One lucky gamer was about to take home this historical board game document, but eBay then took down the listing as it was discovered to be a photocopy. Whoops. And speaking of Dungeons & Dragons, Jack Black, Kevin Smith, Reggie Watts, and other celebrities will be playing D&D for charity next month. The online event D&D Live 2021 from Wizards of the Coast will be aired on G4 TV starting July 16th. A series of novels is releasing soon based on the cooperative board game Pandemic. The first book is titled Pandemic Patient Zero and follows the adventures of newly recruited epidemiologist going to South America to investigate a new virus. It was originally planned to come out last year, but is now coming out this September. Did you know the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim video game is getting a cooperative board game? It will be coming to GameFound this month to be crowdfunded and literally contains hundreds of hours of gameplay spread across 2 campaigns. Each campaign will have 3 chapters. The game will be published by Modiphius. A big selling point is the decisions players make will have distinct effects on the story and encounters as you play. Now let's talk about the new game announcements. First, I'll cover new versions of games, re-releases, re-themes, and expansions. TGG Games will be releasing a pocket-sized city-building game called MicroCity 2E this October. It's a hand management game with a modular board. This second edition adds a head-to-head mode and a cooperative mode. Ticket to Ride is getting a 3D solo puzzle game all about switching up the tracks to solve the various puzzles. Ticket to Ride Track Switcher was developed together with Days of Wonder and Mixlore. It's expected to release this October as well. The latest version of Kemet is coming later this year, called Kemet Blood and Sand. The new version features new art and upgraded gameplay and streamlined rules. The map is getting a redesign and the figurines will be more detailed. If you haven't played it, it's an Egyptian-themed area control and card drafting game that originally came out in 2012. Steamforged Games has announced a pre-order for a new expansion to Horizon Zero Dawn, the board game. It's the Sacred Land expansion and is set to release on September 14th. You'll get to upgrade your hunters with new items and equipment, and of course, explore the Sacred Lands. The expansion will retail for $69.95. The popular card game Red Dragon Inn is getting a new standalone expansion called Red Dragon Inn 8 Pub Crawl. Coming this November, it adds 5 new characters who each own new taverns. Players can bar hop to each. They have their own special rules when there, and it will retail for $39.95. Clue and Monopoly are getting 2 new themes to the games. Clue Nightmare Before Christmas has Sandy Claus kidnapped, and players must find out who took him in time to save Christmas. Monopoly The Sopranos is based off the HBO Mafia show. The chance and community chess cards are renamed to O and A cards. Both games will hit retail in July for $39.99 each. A new edition of Port Royal has been announced for release in December. Port Royal Big Box is going to be a comprehensive edition with new artwork and all the expansions in one box. It's designed by Alexander Pfister and is a push-your-luck card drafting game for 1 to 5 players. The big box will retail for $24.99. Remember the out-of-print Battlestar Galactica board game? The game is being rethemed and remade within the Arkham Horror Atlantica universe. It's called Unfathomable and is of course a social deduction game where 3 to 6 players take on hidden roles. Some are humans and 1 or more others are traitors trying to sink the ship for the ocean-dwelling deep ones. Maintain the ship's resources, limit damage, and deduce who you can trust. It plays between 2 and 4 hours. It's to come out this September for $80. The Arkham Horror card game is getting 2 new expansions, Edge of the Earth Campaign expansion and Investigator expansion. The Mythos packs are getting discontinued and the Edge of the Earth Campaign expansions will take their place. The Investigator expansion brings new player cards and expanded deck building options for the campaign, around 250 cards. Pegasus Spiel has announced a new Undo mystery scenario game called Long Live the King, coming July 23rd. Players time jump to medieval Europe and must reverse the poisoning of a monarch. It's for 2 to 6 players and plays in 45 to 90 minutes. Will retail for $14.99. The newest Dune-themed board game has been given a release date. Dune House of Secrets will come out October 15th during Essenspiel and plays much like the detective games also made by its designers like Ignacy Trzewiczek. Funko Games has released new information on some upcoming Disney games they're working on. Disney Hidden Mickeys is for 2 to 6 players and for ages 3 and up. Place the Mickey markers around the living room, house, or yard, and players get together and flip cards from a pile, hoping to find a Mickey card, all while one player searches for a hidden Mickey marker before the sand timer runs out. Toy Story Talent Show is for ages 6 and up and has players completing challenges like balancing, tossing, roping, and rolling. It plays in 30 minutes for 2 to 6 players. The Mad Tea Party game plays 2 to 10 players ages 5 and up and is about stacking teacups. It's cooperative and plays in about 20 minutes. Lastly, Disney's Mickey and the Beanstalk game is for 2 to 4 players ages 4 and up and features a 3D component. Climb the beanstalk and steal food from the giant's table while avoid getting caught. Collect the food you need and rescue the golden harp to win. The 2004 Lindsay Lohan comedy Mean Girls is getting a board game. Well, a party game centered around the burn book. Players take turns writing answers to a variety of questions about their friends. It's supposed to come out in August. A new trick-taking game from Renegade Game Studios is coming in September called Gudetama, a tricky egg card game holiday edition. It's for 2 to 7 players and plays in 20 minutes. Also coming from Renegade is the City of Crowns expansion and a collector's box for Paladins of the West Kingdom. Both are coming this fall. The creator of Chronicles of Crime has a kid-friendly co-op game coming called Kids Chronicles Quest for the Moonstones. Become a wizard's apprentice and gather moonstones across the fairy world to gain clues needed to solve mysteries. It's also an app-assisted game that lets players see a 3D scene, similar to Chronicles of Crime. It's expected to come out in Q4 this year. For another kids puzzle-solving game, check out Turbo Sleuth by WizKids. Coming this August, solve one of 5 of the cases as fast as possible. There are many different solutions depending on which cards are drawn. Score the most points by solving quickly, but getting a wrong answer deducts points. It plays in 20 minutes for 2 to 8 players ages 10 and up. From the designer of King of Tokyo, Richard Garfield, check out The Hunger this September. Compete as rival vampires to sneak out of the castle to the town to eat and gain familiars. Return to your coffin before the sun comes up. The game is primarily a deck building game and is for 2 to 6 players. Ares Games has a dice game coming in October called Last One Alive about attacking zombies or sending them to attack other players. There's 4 types of dice to use and players overrun by zombies get eliminated. Last player standing wins. It's for 2 to 5 players and lasts 15 minutes. Ryan Laukait's series of games with similar naming conventions is getting a 3rd game called Now or Never at the end of the year. You can pre-order it now. 4 players are travelers returning to their abandoned village generations after the events that comprise the Near and Far game story. The core of the gameplay is about building up your city. Asmodee has a few new titles announced. Project L is a tile-matching puzzle game by Boardcubator coming out July 30th. Complete triple-layered 3D puzzles similar to a version of Tetris. Earn points for completing puzzles with the tiles. The game is for 1 to 4 players and plays in 30 minutes. Repos Productions made a word association game called So Clover, being released by Asmodee in Q3. It's a cooperative teams game where players get keywords and secretly write their common features on the Clover board as clues. Then try to link each player to their keywords for points. For 3 to 6 players ages 10 and up. Lastly, from Rebel Studio, check out their new set collection game, Meadow, this July. Take the role of wanderers watching nature, looking for breathtaking scenery. Collect ground cards, observation cards, landscape, and discovery cards. It's for 1 to 4 players ages 10 and up and plays in 60 to 90 minutes. Will retail for $54.99. This week, there's not a Gateway Network shout out, but I'll have one in the next news video. Jay and I just met with the publisher of Peak Oil and Peak Oil Profiteer to discuss the Kickstarter that's currently live. That interview will be up on the channel very soon, and you'll get to hear all about the standalone sequel, Peak Oil Profiteer. In our next episode, we will discuss our top 10 board games with the best table presence. I also recently met up with the guys at Mondo Games, and we're talking about adding some of their published games on the channel. So if there's a Mondo game that you're interested in knowing about or having a tutorial for, leave a comment about it for me. In our most recent Mentor Minutes podcast episode, we got to interview game designers for 2 different Kickstarter games, Lonely Undead and Tooks Rebellion. Check those out and give the interview a listen. We had some good chats and learned a lot about the games. This week, I uploaded a tutorial for Lewis and Clark: The Expedition, which is a very popular Euro game. They recently published a 2nd edition, which changed some of the rules a bit, so I included the rule adjustments for both editions in the video. Plus, there's a solo mode. I've completed the tutorial for the game Outlive, and am filming tutorials currently for Dune Imperium, Tailmore, and Between Two Castles of Mad King Ludwig. I'm also including the most recent expansion for that in that video, so you'll get to learn the base game and the expansion. And did you know there's 2 solo modes to Between Two Castles? Yep, and I'm covering both. Thanks for tuning in to today's news update. I appreciate your support, and remember, teach when you can, but always be learning. See you next time.